Let's move on though, shall we? Because as we were hearing earlier, new research shows plastic packaging on supermarket shelves has been cut by 10% over the past 3 years. But is it enough? And whose responsibility should it be to reduce the use of plastics? So, Mike, a 10% cut in plastic packaging. Are you impressed or are you disappointed?
Well, it's worth having, but in the scheme of things, we need to do a lot more. Overall, plastic production is going up still. And if you now look at all the discarded plastic in the world, that's virtually all happened over just the last 50 years. If it was cling film, it would be enough to wrap the planet up in this stuff about 1.5 times over. And we have no idea how to ever get this stuff out of our ecosystem again. In time, it breaks into smaller and smaller pieces, but it just turns up in the most remote parts of the ecosystem. And as far as we know, it'll be pretty well there for all time. So, it seems such a simple thing. Go to the supermarket, you buy something in a plastic packaging, and somehow you don't look after it properly, and it ends up being trashed and discarded into the ecosystem. And actually, just think about it, it is there forever. So this is a huge thing that we need to make faster change on them than we are at the moment. It's good we've seen a little bit of change so far.
Tessa, do we need some plastic packaging in order to keep food fresh, to give consumers the chance to hang on to their food for a bit longer?
Well, actually, I think, Anna, that we need to talk about really who's responsible for the amount of plastic packaging in our supermarkets. And, I think it's really commendable when individual customers who have the time and the budget to choose products that come with less packaging make those choices. But actually, there are certain industries that are really driving the expansion of plastics. And the oil and gas industry is, again, one of those industries that sees its future in increasing the market for plastic production as people stop needing to put, oil in their cars. Petrochemicals are the big alternative new market for their products. And what we really need to do is make sure that we're regulating those companies, ensuring that they're not lobbying against environmental regulation, including on plastic packaging, for example. I think rather than continuing to put the onus on individual consumers to make the right choice in, often difficult circumstances.
I just want to get Mike to respond to that. Do you think it is governments regulating businesses that's the answer here, Mike, or have individuals got a part to play?
Well, people ask, is it this group or is it that group? And actually, it's all groups. So individuals can do something about this by choosing which products they buy and which shops they go to. But the shops themselves, especially the supermarkets, for example, have a huge responsibility to look at their supply chains and get the plastic out of their packaging. And there's tons and tons that can be done on that. And just by the way, that's not letting the governments off the hook. They can do an awful lot through regulation as well. Between those three sources of pressure, we can get rapid change.